All right, we're going to learn how to make a design element or design graphic or promotional material in Canva. Canva is amazing because it's free. There's always an upgrade option for everything out there. And so if you ever want to upgrade your free account in Canva, it really just allows you to have a team. I think it allows you to export certain kinds of files. You should look into that if it's something that's worth investing in for your business. So, if you haven't already checked out the other design videos, which cover Adobe InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop, which definitely is not for everyone. So, the first hurdle in even using those programs is buying it. There is a 30-day free trial, but Canva is free, and free is awesome. And Canva really helps someone who isn't a designer. So you're not starting from scratch. There's a ton of amazing templates. And so we're going to start by choosing a US letter size document. The great thing about Canva is there's all these pre-made templates with the exact sizes that you need. So you can't even really mess that up. So I'm going to choose the US letter. It's going to open up in a new tab. And what I always make sure to do is I make sure that anything that I need and anything that I want to be using is loaded already in my uploads, which right now I don't really have plans to use anything. I really want to show you how to use layouts and how all of the different things are very editable. And so let's get started. We're going to be loosely using my mood board that that I created in my last video. I'm going to open it up here. And I'm going to just double click it. I'm on a Mac, and so I'm able to just view this in preview if I want it. And so the different things that are really possible, there's actually a lot that's possible in Canva. It just really depends on how crazy you want to get. So what I'm going to do is make something that's loosely based off this mood board, but I'm going to start with a template that I feel like is very similar. And I apologize if my computer sounds like it's going to take off for flight. I'm sure any of you out there who work on a laptop understand that when you're trying to load a lot of stuff, it starts to get louder and louder. So I'm going to just scroll through some of these pre-made templates. And I'm going to pick one that I feel like, first of all, is free. You can see if you hover over anything that doesn't have the free button, there's a little $sign, and that means that it will cost money. We're going to try to do something that's free. And I'm going to try to create something that still feels very promotional. So not like a lot of text, not like a letterhead. Something that feels still very playful. Actually, this would be a really great starting point. Again, I just went against my own advice. This is going to be a little bit too much text. So when I first get into it, I'm going to delete that section. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I'm kind of far away. And the reason I picked this template is because it has this pink strike through background color like this middle right hand pin has. And so in order to emulate some of those elements, I'm going to change this text. So, it zooms me out. As someone who designs in Adobe design software all the time, Canva is actually the most frustrating software for me to use because it's a little counterintuitive to those programs that I use, but it's actually really great for someone who's not used to it. So I'm changing this font to Anton because I feel like it's a nice block text, and I'm going to make it so that it's uppercase, which is just right here. And I love how easy it is to do that. But I'm going to change this text to learn how to design. And I'm going to left align it. And I'm going to make it a lot bigger. So I'm going to go up to 80. I'm going to pull this right here. I really like it when text and background colors can intersect. So I love how it splits into this, the O and the 2. And I'm going to figure out how to get rid of this picture because I don't really want the typewriter. So I can just, it says I can just drag and drop to replace that photo. And let's look. Let's see if this has any photography. Actually, I don't think it does, which is interesting. That's something to think through. If you're creating a mood board or you envision a design that utilizes a lot of photography, just keep it in mind. So what I actually might do is I'm going to drag this and just delete it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to take this little line and delete it. I'm going to actually move this. I basically wait until you see that cross. And then I'm going to highlight it and left align it as well. And I'm going to say using Canva, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. But I'm going to bring these each onto their own line. And then I'm going to try to just pick that same font. I'm not going to try to incorporate a new one underneath just because I think it's nice. If you're frustrated with the amount of space that's in between, you can, under More, go into spacing and adjust the letter height, the spacing between letters. So I'm going to bring this down so it's closer, a little bit more packed in. I also love this, so it will basically anchor the text box. Helps you align a little bit better. And then I'm going to just delete these lines. Oops, see? And I can't always tell what I'm selecting. It's a little bit harder. The other thing that's just a little bit more, can be a little bit more frustrating is in those other programs that I design in, you can easily just eyedropper tool the colors on your board and get that pretty accurate pretty quickly. Whereas this just takes a little bit longer. You kind of have to eyeball it. So if you go into here and you can just sort of eyeball that color. If you can, through some other method, figure out your hex code, which is this code down here, you could end up just transferring that over, copying and pasting it from wherever you are and doing that. So I'm going to, down here, because this is just a part of the template, I'm going to say thewonderjam.com/membership. And then I'm going to get a little creative, and I'm going to take a look at like what different kind of backgrounds they have, what kind of elements they have. So under elements, you've got free photos, grids, frames, shapes, lines, illustrations, icons, charts. I heart Canva. Oh, that's sweet. But I'm going to take a look at illustrations. The illustrations that I notice in our board right here is this little mouth. And so it's cool how something as simple as an open mouth can become very identifiable for your brand. Ooh, I'm also going to, I think I'm going to copy this and make it white. And then fit it like this. So you saw that. I'll go back to my mood board in a second. And I think what I'll do is under arrange, you can just move back. And you can see here in this top, the mean sandwiches board, there's a little bit of that white backdrop shadow happening. And so I'm just basically faking it with the same letter. And I think it does the job for the limitations that we have. So then I take a look at illustrations. So as you start going through, you might be like, okay, I don't like any of these. not my style, but I'm going to, let's just see what they have for like lips. And so you can see again, there's little elements that will tell you if it's free or not. Let's see what this looks like. So here we go, we've got it. Remove watermark. Oh, this one is paid. So this is what it looks like when it's paid. So it's like multi-use, $10. Oh, it was $1. I totally missed that. So I'm going to try to pull, I really want to challenge myself to do something that's free. Let's do a different pattern. Let's do, actually this one could be kind of cool. So the thing that's different about Canva is you can just drag everything, it will stay, the ratio and scale will stay there, or the ratio will stay the same. You actually have to hit shift to distort it, which I really like that you can just sort of go with it. You don't have to worry about stretching things out. And so when you do something like this, you can easily, if we go back to this pin, see that they're using this sort of as a pattern, which I think is really, it's really cute. So I'm going to copy it a bunch of times, and I'm going to zoom out. And actually, I don't like this black bar. So I'm going to go into it and actually change the color to be gray. I'm also going to make this background this pinkish red color, and I'm going to make this be black. And this is where I start saying, okay, does this look too feminine? Is this really the look that I'm going for? You know, I don't ever want it to be like too crazy. And then I'm going to just rotate it so that I can start making, I'm going to hand make my pattern. And just so that I don't rotate these all differently, I'm going to delete a bunch of these. I think there's more, but I can't see them right now. So I'm going to copy, and I'm going to keep doing this. I can't decide if I want it to be perfect, like a perfect pattern. I don't think I do. And if it's above here, you're just going to arrange, send it back. And something that makes it really fun is when it actually intersects. So don't avoid it overlapping with things. I think that really shows that something is a little bit more custom and not so templated. And these will just go sort of in that window. This is another issue with Canva, is making it so that you can get access to these other elements. Just leave it. We'll just leave it how it is. And then copy that down here. Zoom out one more time. As you start playing with the design, you can decide what's important to, you know, what do you want to keep? What do you not want to keep? And here you start saying, okay, do you want them to be all the same direction, or do you want them to start feeling a little bit more skewed? So I don't love how they're all perfect. I want it to feel a little bit more random. And then you can go from there. So I'm going to refer back to our mood board again. And I'm going to try to achieve this sort of, some sort of more earthy color. So whether it's this like pukish yellow or a hunter green. Just give it a shot. And I think sometimes that can just mature it. It almost feels a little bit more vintage. Get rid of these random lips that I had. I want this to be send to back. I want it to be overlapping. And if you feel like right here up at the top, it's lacking a little bit, you can just bring this. And it looks like the shortcut is just command bracket. And again, I like it when things go on and off the artboard. And if this feels distracting, I would just prioritize this over here, bring this over, and you can see that I'm just making sure that there's enough space. It doesn't feel too crammed. And copy this one, bring that down here. And then I'm actually gonna rotate this. So then you start just getting, start figuring out if this looks good, if you like the way that it's feeling, if it feels too random, not too random. And then decide if you want, for me, I'm gonna decide if I really want this to have any more detail. So I think what I'm gonna do is bring all of this up a little bit. Yeah. And, on some of the other graphics that I made, I had the date and time. So if you wanted to, you could for sure do that. This is where I start thinking through if, depending on where I'm using this, if I wanted this design, but I wanted it on like a Facebook event, displayed on a Facebook event or in Photoshop, those are all the different things that you can think through. I'm gonna look back here and just see if there's anything else that I want to implement or enact. And I think I feel good about it. What I might do is take a look at some textures, see what they have. Once it starts getting into all of them costing money, I don't really think it's that worth it. But it would be kind of cool to, one of the things that I think is just limiting in Canva is just adding in texture and making something feel a little bit more custom. Things tend to be just a little bit more flat because you just have different limitations, but there's nothing wrong with it. It still does the job. Going to maybe add one more right up here. And then we're going to send it back. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, I went to the other screen. See when I have that one up there? Just peeking out. Last thing I might do is just make this so it's not pure black. Sometimes pure black can come off just a little bit more harsh than I want. And so I'm going to change this. I kind of want it in between. I don't want it pure black, but I don't want it so charcoal. So I'm going to go into document colors and just bring that a little bit more into here. And I will copy this code just in case it doesn't save. And I will yep, it saved it right here, which is great. I love that Canva saves the document colors so that you can reference those pretty quickly. So yeah, I feel really good about this. Not totally sure about if I would add a texture or add anything to this pukey yellow color right here. I'm gonna just try one more other font, which you can upload your own fonts if you upgrade. Let's see what this looks like. Well, we gotta make it smaller. So let's go to 72 or 64. I can just pull this out a little bit. And so you can see that this font just has a way different height. You know, it's like not as tall as the one that we were working with. And so you can start to undo if you don't like the way that looks. I hit undo one too many times. Let's go back to here. And I'll just leave it like that. I like the way it looks. I think it is different. It definitely feels inspired by that one specific pin. I'm gonna move this down. Again, I know so many people who can work in Canva faster than I can. I'm just so used to other programs, but I wanted to show you how I would approach it. The great thing is it saves it so that when you sign into your account, you'll see it. You can share it with someone. You can download it as a PDF or a JPEG, PNG. I think if you want a transparent background, you have to upgrade, but you can get all of the different file types with crop marks and bleed, which is amazing because you need that to send to a printer. So I'm going to save this. Looks like you can directly print it, which is great, but I'm also going to download it as a JPEG. There we go. All of this looks good. So that's how I would handle it. Again, if you wanted to add new pages, you can just hit this to duplicate it. You can go into the text and actually get into actually pre-made text layouts, which I think is huge. If you have a hard time pairing fonts, it's amazing that you can just go into here and click this. It will pop in over at your design, which I don't really want right now. But you can see here that it has the two font pairings, and I think that is so helpful for people if they do not know how to work with typefaces. The other thing that I really like about it is you can upload all your own graphics. And so anything with a transparent background, you can upload and just keep within your account, which is really amazing. And then outside of illustrations, it's, you know, a lot of other things that you can work with, which are like lines. So any kind of border, free photos that are free for you to use, which is so helpful for so many people if you're creating a graphic for your blog post or things like that. So overall, really helpful. I hope that you can get a Canva account, check it out. It's free, and thank you for watching.